I don't think people understand how valuable they can be if they use their time correctly.
Because I'm sure that you've experienced like the attainment of a goal and then I just need 3 times more.
Yeah.
I'm referencing a study there where they asked people how much money they would need to be happy. And all the way up the income wealth spectrum, people said 3 times more than they have now.
He said, we live in a society where mediocrity is often rewarded. And he went on to say something about these men detest mediocrity. And I wanted to be a man that detests mediocrity. It got me in a lot of trouble in the SEAL teams and going forward in my life because I started looking down on people for not going hard as fucking shit. And I started to create different things, but that's for a different day. But I just believed that, my whole mind changed. Even though I showed it didn't hurt me, it was jacking me up. So all the insecurities I had when I was a kid with my father, I moved into this area here and it just got worse and worse and worse. And the shit haunted me. And that voice that I talked about, it kept talking louder and louder and louder, but I was doing nothing about it. And I decided to make moves.
Because now, guess what? Learning is cool.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have to do it anymore, right?
It's
when you're a kid, they force you into this school, you don't want to learn, but then when you get out, you realize, like, oh, this actually benefits me. This is making me a better person. This is making me wiser.
It's 100% the reality, and it's weird how it happens. But when you go, oh my God, learning and knowledge is power. Fuck, they used to tell me this when I was 10.
And you're like, what?
Yes.
Nonsense.
10, 11 years old, I heard that shit all the time. Now I finally get it. Damn, I'm about to be 40. Took me all this time to get the goddamn code, but I got it.
Yeah.
It hits you at a different time. And when it does, be excited about it, man.
Yeah.
Be excited. I'm excited about what 50 is. I'm just now getting to 40.
As you start to grow, if you're growing, a small business, or even in the workplace, if you tolerate mediocrity from others, you will get more mediocrity, and people over time will just degrade and get worse and worse over time, rather than the reverse of that, of thinking like, I will only tolerate excellence, and anything below that is intolerable. If you think about the best leaders and the best CEOs and the most successful people of all time, they have this innate trait, right? For lack of a better term, they're ball busters, right? They hold a standard that, and here's the catch, that they themselves stay above, which means you must raise your own standards so that you can model what it looks like for other people around you to hold themselves, right? The best, like most people need to be led. Most people need a model, and they can see that, right? And you're leading by example.
And I had to become a new man and learn that I have to say what I want in life, do what I want, and like you said, hold yourself. I have to advocate for myself at all times because this is a saying that I stuck with. Do what you're meant to, not what you're supposed to. Everyone is always supposed to be doing something, but if you're not meant to be doing that, why the fuck are you doing it? Like, seriously.
I wonder how many people have gone through their entire lives never doing anything that they weren't supposed to do.
Yep.
That there's sad. It's just been one big series of dominoes from when they were born until now, at whatever age they are, where they never told their dad or the equivalent of it that they didn't want to do lacrosse.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. You gotta wait for everything to be perfectly aligned for you to be successful. And here's what's even crazier. If you need perfect conditions to be successful, the moment the conditions change, you will stop being successful. So you might as well start when the conditions are at their absolute worst, because it means that they will only get better from there. And if you can prove success when things get bad, when they get bad again, which is guaranteed, you will still remain successful because you have learned how to do it in this time, in this circumstance. Make sense? Great reason. Do not wait for perfect conditions.
Real introspection and accepting of your own flaws and faults with the old school mentality of pick up a weight and carry it. I think one of the things that men that want to achieve things in their life struggle with a lot is
I look at me now and I see all the warts. Okay, I see all the negatives more than anybody else does. I see the positives. And over the whole balance of stuff, I like me. And I can give myself the same grace. If you and I were friends, I can give myself the same grace I can give you because I like me.
There's things like the 9 to 5, and there's things like the entrepreneurial route. And I think it's really important for people to realize that it isn't always grass is greener on the other side. I think people need to realize also that there is just as much in some scenarios, struggle in, oh, I'm going to do everything on my own. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. You're working 24 hours, brother. Good luck. It's hard. 9 to 5. Good luck. If I had to go to that, good luck. It's hard. It's hard on both ends of life. It's just a matter of almost like, what evil do you want to put your energy into?
What pain do you want to have to deal with?
Like they see Goggins and they think, oh, suffer, let's go. I'm gonna fucking get through this job. I don't care. And that makes them, maybe they get dopamine off of that. But you also could just input that same exact suffer and energy into maybe something that you have passion and drive for. It's still gonna maybe have its moments of difficulty and suck, but at least it's towards something that like your inner soul, it's different feeling of outcome of just internal feeling of your soul's dopamine hits. You know what I mean?
Look, it's no coincidence that at that time, to have the courage to make that decision, I did have really cool things going on in my life. I'd fallen in love with Camilla. She'd just become pregnant with her first child. That gave me some significance of like, that's what I've always wanted to be. As a father, here we go. If I stick with it, this will give me a home base to feel secure in, even though I'm stepping away from what has given me significance for so many years and decades in my life. Having her to sit there, as much as I knew it was the right decision, and it was a 3 a.m. decision in my own soul, she's always been very good with me about going, let's say it out loud, and here's what we're gonna do. If we're doing this, she's the one that said, this could be drive for who knows how long. You may not get work ever again, but if we're gonna do this, I'll be here by your side and we're doing it together, and there's no going back. We're not gonna get nerves at the goal line. If we don't know where the goal line is, we're not gonna get down the line and go, oh, I pulled the parachute.
Even if it's a $14 million parachute.
Even if it's $14 million parachute.
Even if it doesn't work out and you become a teacher or you go become a lawyer again, whatever, so making that a choice that was inevitable, that there was no pulling the parachute on, sure as hell helped with the endurance.
What was the mindset shift? I'm interested to learn about old Dwayne and new Dwayne and where that calming trajectory, why that happened, what instigated it.
Well, I'll just say I came to a place in life where I just didn't like me anymore. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I will not spend the next 50 years with this guy like I have the last 50. I don't like me. Nobody around likes me. I can't. Catalyst just came about, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I had a small heart attack, and I knew it was a heart attack, and I was at the point, I'm not kidding, I lay there in bed, and I felt it come on, and I'm like, I think I'm having a heart attack. Good. I don't have to fight this anymore. I'm not going to wake my wife up. I went to sleep.
You were in bed next to your wife having a heart attack.
Yeah. And I went to sleep. I woke up next morning, I'm like, dang it, I'm still here. And I didn't tell her. And I went to the doctor. I had further heart problems and other problems, and I finally went to the doctor, and they did an EKG, and they're like, yeah, you had a heart situation back on this. And it was just kind of like, I can't continue to live like this, you know. And my kids didn't like me. I wasn't abusive, you know, I was never, but I wasn't a very nice person. And I was just very on edge, very angry, and so I had to make some decisions. What's making me like this? I need to get it out of my life. And there were people, including family, that I'm like, nope, y'all are gone. I stopped watching the news. I'm like, nope, y'all are gone. You know, started changing my diet. Started spending a lot of time out on the front porch just smoking cigars, letting the world go by. And slowly over time, you know, got a handle on stuff. And went back to reading. You know, when I was a kid, I read heavily, you know. And went back to reading poetry and Marcus Aurelius and stuff, and just kind of got some of my perspective back.
Some of the prices that people need to pay in order to be who they are.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by this question. I'm fascinated by the cost of entry, price of doing business, to be a person that other people admire. Because I think that it helps to humanize others' success, and it helps to mitigate jealousy and envy, because you see what someone has had to go through in order to be in a position that you think you want to be. And they go, oh, you get to see this much. By the way, there's this monster hiding behind. What do you wish more people knew about the price of success in life?
Well, success has taken on different definitions over time. It used to have to do, and some people listen to this will be like, come on, kind of. It used to have to do with integrity. But that actually, I think, was a word that was in the definition in 1901 or 11. And now, money, fame, that's your definition of success. So it seems to be that, and it always has been to some extent, whoever has more is most successful. More access, more money, you're the winner. The last, for a lot, that is, I'm not saying it's a race to the red light, but I am saying the fourth quarter of that being your goal, it had the residuals decline on quality of life. I've met many more very rich men who chase that dollar to be successful and to be relevant for having the most money, that the last 15, 20, even younger years were bewildered, lost, had no relationships, didn't have purpose. Chasing the dollar, they just did it. They were good at it and made it happen, but they didn't feel what they were doing. They couldn't even necessarily say what they were really good at. Just good deal makers or made the right calls in certain mathematics. That's definition. It's also why I wasn't surprised when Trump first got elected. It fame, it money. We sell that every day in the West as this is how you make it.
It's America.
This is what you
It's
do.
America.
That's America. Yeah. So I was not surprised because that's what we're getting fed. What is success? I just let me rephrase it with this. We all want to be relevant, but I think we all forget to ask ourselves relevant for what before we chase our relevance or chase success.